Hi friends, welcome back to my channel for video this week. So I kind of wanted to talk to you today about something that's a little bit personal and just kind of explain myself right now, because obviously you can see I haven't been posting too many videos since coming back, and I haven't posted much since the beginning of the year, and I touched on it a little bit in the last video, but I feel like I need to explain a little bit more about how I'm feeling right now, because I think it's really important to share when you're not necessarily feeling your best, because other people can relate to that, and people who might have been feeling like they are alone in it can feel a little bit more of a connection. And just to kind of explain myself a little bit more. So, lately, I have been feeling kind of down and a little bit of anxiety. And it's not every day, but it is some days, and it kind of sneaks up on me, and I find myself getting really worked up in a way that's not how it should be in the situation. It's over exaggerated and it can't calm down, and I actually got a panic attack going into work it was a couple weeks ago now. It freaked me out a lot to feel that way, and it's come since then. I've had a couple more instances where I've felt really anxiety ridden, and I haven't been able to just like snap out of it, and that's not like me. So I can tell that I'm feeling really stressed out, and I know that I hadn't been taking the best care of myself, and even after quitting the job, I didn't necessarily just go back into, taking time for myself. I still managed to some days feel really overwhelmed with how much I had to do, including some days just wanting to like do nothing and sit around. I found myself getting like upset that I hadn't done more that day, and then having to talk myself into the fact that I'd been going for, sorry, I have the window open because it's really hot in here, so if you hear traffic, I apologize, but having to convince myself that it was okay to take a day off and not do anything that day, and then having too many days off that I wasn't really doing much at all, and then trying to squeeze into my other days where I'm working all these other little things. And it just kind of got to a point about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I'm really bad with time frames, where, and I haven't been out of work that long, but it felt like in that short time that I kind of spiraled a little bit. And I think also taking a pay cut has really messed with me a little bit, because I don't like not having as much savings and things like that. So it's hard, it's tricky. So I've been consciously making an effort to take better care of myself and slow down a little bit. So with that said, like I've been making a conscious effort to do things that I really enjoy doing, and taking the time to really have time for myself, and be that, going out to dinner, seeing friends, family, whatever it may be, going to the gym, going for a bath, like whatever it is, making it a conscious decision that is what I'm going to do today, and I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm not going to stress over it, because I need those times and I need to take care of myself. And that became glaringly obvious at the end of last year, and I made a big change, and it still isn't enough. so I need to take an active role, which means that this is the first video of a series that I'm going to call Get Healthy With Me, and it's going to focus on different things, be it food or health or wellness or whatever, but I haven't quite figured out how the format of that is going to be. But yeah, I've definitely needed to make an active change in how I was going about things. So I like to make these videos and promise things, because then I feel like it makes me more accountable, and I need that myself to be able to say, this is what's happening, I'm gonna do this, and be accountable to someone. So, not just myself. Things slide away when I'm doing things without just telling people. Then I have no accountability and it goes out the window. So I thought I would start today by letting you know just what my current health plan is, what I've been trying to do, and where I'd like to go with it. So we'll just discuss it a little bit today, and then in the future I will be showing you a little bit more details about these things in amongst my other videos if I ever get off my lazy bum. So firstly is my exercise routine. What I like to do is swim. I love, love, love swimming. Yes, I'm a Pilates instructor, and as far as group fitness, fitness regime, Pilates, hands down, my most favorite type of exercise. But close second, tied, maybe sometimes more enjoyable, is swimming. I am part fish, I'll admit it, and every summer I spend hours and hours and hours at the local pool and just swim my little heart out. So I decided at the end of last summer to get a gym membership because they had a promotion that was just for the winter. And so I've been swimming. I didn't use it right away. I kept meaning to. Finally, I've been pretty consistent. I attempt to go twice a week. There's been a couple weeks where I only made it once, and when I was on vacation, but I was swimming at the pool in Arizona. So since I've proclaimed that I was going to be going twice a week, I've pretty much gone twice a week every week. So that I love, because I can kind of zone out and it's very therapeutic, and I just watch my hands kind of swimming in the water, and I let my brain think about whatever it wants to think about, and it's really, really soothing. So I love that. Love, love, love it. And then I go into the sauna for about 10 minutes or so, 15 maybe, and just let the heat of the sauna really relax my muscles. Sometimes I do light stretching of some more tighter muscles just to let them breathe a little bit, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that's what I do twice a week for swimming. The other thing, obviously, is Pilates. Now, I teach quite a lot of hours. I'm anywhere at the moment from 10 to 15 hours of teaching. So I wasn't doing a lot of classes because I was teaching so much, and I was finding it hard to kind of work that into my schedule. I started doing some at home, which is great, but I don't find that I push myself enough when I'm doing it on my own. Even when I'm teaching it to clients, like, I can't go gung-ho because I'm still trying to talk and not injure myself, which is kept happening for a couple weeks there. I kept injuring myself. I hurt I pulled a muscle by my rib, and I hurt my low back, and my shoulder got a little wonky. So, and my knee keeps acting up, and so I just kind of stopped doing too much exercise during my classes for that reason. So I've decided to start actually taking a class at least once a week at the studio. So that has been so far so good. I've done one every week for the last 3 weeks. Did one this morning actually, and I'm really liking that because I find it gives me that extra push. When I began Pilates, I was not very strong, not very flexible, not very fit in the slightest. So for me, it was a very slow process to build a lot of that muscle and tone and strength. And so I feel like it's like overweight people that lose a bunch of weight and then they still don't necessarily think that they are skinny. They still feel like those overweight people, and they buy clothes that are too big for them and things like that. I'm the same way when it comes to fitness, because I still think of myself as, oh, I can't do that exercise. And unless I'm in a class where the instructor is watching me, I don't push myself necessarily to do it. And I've actually been surprised when I have taken classes over the last little bit at a certain exercise that I don't teach very often, if at all, because I can't really demonstrate it because I was afraid I couldn't do it. And then I realized that I could, and the progress that I've made. And that's something that's really kind of cool to see. And it's pushing me to try different things that I didn't think I could do before either, on my own, and play with it a little bit more. So it's been really good for me, and not just for that, but to also just see how other people teach their classes. And you can always learn something, always. That's why I love this industry, because I will never get bored, ever. Even if it's just at how somebody else describes the exercise, how they articulate it, the cue that they use, the way they put their own little twist on it. It's really neat to go to different classes. So if you go to one fitness class every week, I challenge you to try a different fitness class. Even if it's at the same studio, and say you go to yoga and you do a moksha yoga every single day, try going to the moksha flow and see how that changes things for you. That's my challenge to whoever is watching this. Anyways, on the topic of yoga, the other thing that I've been doing now for, this will be my 4th week of that as well, is I've been going to a very early morning class on Thursdays. So, hot yoga. At first I was really intimidated by going that early, thinking that I wouldn't be on my game, because I do find in the evenings that I'm much more flexible and more centered, because even though I'm a morning person, I don't necessarily feel quite on the ball, especially that early. So it was a bit of a challenge for me. I wasn't sure how I'd like it. But going that early, being the first one in the room, so the room isn't necessarily as hot as it can get, which is really quite nice for me because I do get dizzy sometimes and overheat. That has made a big difference. It's only an hour-long class, where some of them run anywhere from an hour and 15 to an hour and a half. This one's only an hour, which I find I make it through the whole class, so I get to feel that sense of satisfaction in completing it. It's made a huge difference, and I really enjoy going, and I like starting my day off that way. And I might fall a little bit, a little less energy in the middle of the afternoon, but it's for the best. But I really enjoy it, so it's a small price to pay, and I teach only till 9, so I get to go to bed at a decent time on Thursdays, and it's good. It's really good. So enjoying that very, very much. Have been finding that I get a little energy low in the afternoon on that day, just a bit, but it's not so bad. I have a bit of a gap, so a couple hours there where I can at least kind of rest my body, so it's not so bad, and then I go back to teach. But I'm really enjoying it. It's super, super fun. So that is what I do in terms of fitness. I like to mix it up. I like to switch it up. I have been dying to go back to the bar studio that I used to go to, and to a boxing class that I'd been to before that I absolutely loved, and those are my next 2 goals, is to try to work those in at least like once a month, try to get out to a different fitness class. So that is that. In terms of eating, I do attempt to eat a whole food, plant-based diet on the regular. Now, that said, I've already had this discussion about my diet before. You can look at one of my older videos, but I do eat occasionally non-plant-based foods and processed foods. So I'm currently struggling a little bit with that. However, since the 12 Days of Sean, and since this quitting of the restaurant that I worked at, where I was tempted by a lot of more unhealthy foods, I have made leaps and bounds from where I was. I notice a difference, I feel a difference, and my budget and the way that I was planning my food and eating and buying groceries and all that has changed. So making sure that all the fruits and vegetables that I buy, making a real effort to actually consume them, to not overbuy, to have a plan when I go, a rough grocery list. I give myself a little bit of wiggle room for things that might catch my eye, and trying to buy things that are on sale. So I go in and I see that the cauliflower is on a great price today. Okay, what can I make with cauliflower? And like figuring it out in that moment and trying to kind of play with those things that are at a good price in the store, and letting that be my guide rather than, oh, I really wanted to make asparagus tonight, but it's $6, but it's on my list, so I'm going to buy it. No. So that's been key to eating the more plant-based diet, for sure. And to make sure that I'm getting enough in, because that's a big thing that I notice on a lot of vegan other YouTube channels and websites and things that I've been reading, is making sure that you are eating enough, getting those calories in. Whereas people today are all about these low-calorie diets, low-fat, low-carb diets. I don't want to have to restrict myself. I don't like having to do that. I've never really restricted myself. I might have just been more cautious of how much I was consuming, but if I was hungry, I ate. I never have been able to do that, and nor should you. It is so bad to restrict like that, because then all that happens is you end up binging later on. No, you should not overeat crappy processed foods, not shove your face until you're beyond full of that kind of food, but you should be shoving your face with healthy, whole, natural, plant-based diets. You are never going to overeat if you are eating that kind of food. And I feel it. I will eat so much, and it literally just burns through me. And I'm not gaining weight. In fact, I'm de-bloating, and I think I'm probably losing a bit of weight because things are fitting better. But if you know me, I never actually weigh myself. So that has been huge, though, to see that kind of change and see how those foods actually do react with your body. So if you haven't taken a look at that kind of a diet before, and I call it a diet, but it's not like a diet, it's a way of eating, then I suggest you check it out. And to that, I've also started reading, although it's a really thick book to get through, but I have begun to read The China Study. I've been reading it now on and off for about 2 months. As I said, it's very thick, it's very dense, it's very factual, but it is really interesting. So if you haven't read that, I highly recommend it. And if you'd like the Cliff Notes version, I recently got Netflix. I know I'm so late to the game, but I got Netflix, and so I watched Cowspiracy and Forks Over Knives, and it's just a game changer. I also watched Vegucated. So if you have Netflix, or somebody you know has Netflix that will let you watch them, highly recommend getting into that and learning about it, because it's just incredible, and it really makes you think, and it makes you wonder, and it makes you ask questions, which we should all be doing. So those are the things I've been doing for my mind, body, and my soul, because when I'm exercising, when I'm learning things, I feel like I'm feeding my soul, because it makes me happier. It relieves stress, it relieves that anxiety that I've been feeling, the exercise. I'm sleeping somewhat better because of it, although not every night. I'm definitely noticing a slow change, and I know it's a process, and I know that, you know, Rome wasn't built in a night, so I need to continue. Consistency is key when you're trying to make a lifestyle change, and that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a lifestyle change. The next step that I want to start adding to would be meditation. I think that it has a real effect on people to be able to calm yourself that way and really slow the mind down. And the yoga touches on it a little bit, but I find it a little hard because I'm so focused on the movements of the exercises that I don't find that I'm holding on to the thoughts that they give you, you know, the mantras and the things they make you think about and talk about and what you should be focusing on for your class. I don't necessarily always think about those things. So I downloaded an app recently called Calm. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. And it starts off, well, it doesn't even tell you, but it starts off by saying take a deep breath, and you can hear that? So it helps you to relax, it helps you to breathe, and there's all different kinds of features on it. I haven't gotten into it too much, but that is the next thing that I want to start doing. And I forgot, I also want to start running a little bit more, because in terms of stress relief, running actually physically makes me feel less stressed. I have this visualization technique that I use, which is my shoulders, I pretend there's shingles on it like a roof, and as I'm running, the shingles, I try to envision them falling off, and that's my stress falling away, my problems falling off of me. And sometimes I'll even have to like flick them off as I'm running, and I probably look like a crazy person, but it really helps me, and it's something I've done for years now, so that is huge for me. And I've run on and off for years now, but it's not something I do consistently because of my leg and knee issues. So fitness wise, these other types of fitness, I'm working a lot on my alignment and strengthening the muscles of my legs and especially around my kneecap so that I have better form, and hopefully that'll improve my running. I did my first run this year and I had absolutely zero pain. It wasn't a very long run, and I did run in intervals, which I find really helps to build that strength up. So that was really, really good. So hopefully I'll just keep getting better, and that's why this is a series. So that is where I'm at right now. Those are the things I've been doing over the last few weeks, and hopefully just by talking about it and getting it out there, I can take the next step of trying to let the rest of that stress go. I'll work on the meditation, and I will check in again in a couple weeks, see where I'm at in terms of the things we talked about today, and we'll just go from there. So yeah, welcome to the first episode of Get Healthy with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it gave you some kind of benefit, maybe even just if you were curious as to what I actually do every day, and I hope that it helped you, if you are dealing with any of that, to feel like you're not alone in it, because it's very common, and I know so many people that have the same kind of anxiety and issues. So definitely, you're not alone. Please, if you have any tips for me on things that you do to help de-stress and release any tensions, or just any fitness that you enjoy or foods that you like to eat, anything like that that you think will be helpful to me in this quest, please comment below. And also, if you haven't already, please check out my Instagram, because I post a lot more on my Instagram than I do on my website, and I'll link that. It should have popped up right now on the video. So follow that, and my website as well, which is thesleepypineapple.com. That's how I post different recipes and little tidbits and things on there. So if you haven't checked it out, I encourage you. And if you haven't checked out those books or those documentaries on Netflix, definitely check those out as well. I'll link all of those titles down below as well, just for your reference. So yeah, that's all. I'm gonna head out, but thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share if you want to see more, and I will see you very soon. Bye!